Hello, readers. We are back with another book, Unicorn Island: The Secret of Lost Luck. Unicorn Island: The Secret of Lost Luck, Book 1. The cracked sidewalks shimmered with the heat of the June sun as Sam dashed down the street, swinging a bag from the full-belly deli. She had spent 2 nights of mom's dinner money on it, but this was a special occasion. Jerry behind the corner had even given her one of his fresh baked chocolate chip cookies for free when she had told him that she and mom was celebrating 12 whole months of living in Brooklyn. 12 months was the longest time they had lived ever anywhere. Musicians like mom traveled a lot: San Francisco, Dallas, Philadelphia, Boston. Judy, the florist, smiled and plucked a daisy from her outdoor stand as Sam headed her way. She handed it to Sam and said, "You look cherry. Daisies are for cheers. Pass it on, Sam." "Thanks, Sam." "Thanks." Sam tucked it into the grocery bag and ran into her apartment building, taking the stairs two at a time, with arms and legs burning. She passed their neighbors mid-shaw with a quick hi and burst into the teeny apartment she shared with her mom. Ow! She stumbled over two suitcases by the door and barely made it to the kitchen table without spilling the groceries. Mom wasn't supposed to be home from her orchestra rehearsal for another 2 hours, but Sam heard her talking quietly on the phone in the bedroom they shared. "I'll get dinner ready," Sam yelled. Unpacking the bag, she boiled the water and emptied a box of spaghetti into the pot, warmed up marinara sauce, steamed some broccoli, and put the garlic bread in the oven. "Please don't let me burn anything this time," she thought. She twirled around when Mom appeared, grabbing her hand and twirling her, too. Her straight blonde hair flying in one direction as Sam's black curls flew in the other. "What's this, Samantha?" "See, Wells?" When Mom was surprised, she always called Sam by her full name. She often said she loved the ocean so much that she named her daughter after it. "We are celebrating," Sam said, growing dizzy and stumbling. Mom laughed and pulled her down to the couch. "It's our 1 year anniversary here." Sam waited to see her mother's reaction, but she only nodded. "And now that we are staying here with your job, I can go to public school. No more homeschooling, and we can get real Christmas decorations. You know, the kind that go in a box and you pull out every December, and we can have our neighbors over for a party every year from now on. We will call it the Get Wells Party. Get it?" Mom sighed and let go of Sam's hand. A trickle of sweat ran down Sam's neck. The air conditioner rattled in the window, barely blowing out cold air. Christmas seemed far away. "Good night. Good," Sam thought. She wanted to be here a long time. "I love seeing you so happy, but actually, I have something else to celebrate," Mom said. "I just got a new job." Sam twisted her feet together. "Here?" Mom shook her head. "I'm replacing a florist who got sick. It's a 2 month trip tour in Europe." Sam jumped off the couch and stumbled into the suitcases. All of the good dinner smells suddenly didn't smell so good. "But you said New York is the musician's capital of the world. Why would you want to tour Europe?" "It's the opportunity of a lifetime, Sam, and it would mean a lot of money." She looked around. "I could get better jobs in New York with this on my resume." "Can I go with you?" Mom shook her head. "They don't have any accommodations for children. and I'll be rehearsing all the time, working all the time, rehearsing and playing. Sam's nose burned as tears filled her eyes. Where would I go for the whole summer? Mom stood and took Sam's hands. With your Uncle Mitch. Sam pulled her hands away. I don't even know him. The spaghetti pot boiled over with a loud bubbling rush. Sam ran into the kitchen and turned it down, crying hard. A bitter smell filled the air. She had forgotten to stir the marinara, and it had put the flame on too high. She pulled out the lid and stirred it, but the spoon stuck to the mess on the bottom. She checked the broccoli, only to discover it had turned into a big pile of mush. She opened the oven door, and smoke poured out. The garlic bread was nothing more than a burnt stick. Dinner was ruined again. She couldn't do anything right. Not make dinner, not keep her new friend Felicity, finally get the chance to go to public school, not convince mom to stay. She plopped down in a chair at the table, wiping her face. You have spent time with Uncle Mitch and my sister, Sylvie, until you were 2 years old. Mom sat down across from her, and he knows you, Sam. I send him photos and tell him about you all the time. He sends us money to help us out. He may only be your uncle by marriage, but he is still family and he cares for you. But he lives so far away in South Carolina. Sam picked at the zipped plastic tablecloth. Uncle Mitch loves it there. He's got so much space in a real house, much more than this, and the beach is right there. How come we have never seen him since I was 2 years old then? Mom picked at the tablecloth now, not meeting her gaze. We travel a lot, and he never leaves Foggy Harbor. He works there all the time on special projects, but he's the only family we have got. Yes, and now it's time you got to know him. Mom smiled. It will be fun. You will learn about all the famous shipwrecks and pirates of the Carolina coast. The smile, sorry, the smile faltered. Plus, there's no one else. Sam, certainly not Sam's dad, since he had abandoned them when she was born. But Mom hardly ever talked about Uncle Mitch. The daisy poked off out of the grocery bag on the table. Sam pulled it out. It hung limp in her hand. Judy says daisies are for cheer and to pass it on. No more Judy's flower of the day. No more picking monster pickles from the barrel at the fully belly deli. No more making funny videos of friendship bracelets with facility. You keep it, sweetheart. Mom stood and kissed the top of her head, pulling out plates to eat their burned dinner on. We'll be cheery again soon, Sam. I promise. We'll both go off and have our own adventures, and then we'll come back to celebrate them together. Sam tucked the wilted daisy behind her ear and set the table. How am I getting to Foggy Harbor? I've spoken with Miss Shaw. She and her granddaughter Della are heading back to their family in Myrtle Beach. You can ride the bus with them. Then you will only have an hour by yourself between there and Foggy Harbor. Sam stared at the suitcase sitting by them and blew out a big sigh. When do I leave? Mom strained the soggy pasta. Tomorrow. Chapter 2. Foggy Harbor coming up. The driver called. Sam clutched her backpack and stared out the dirty bus window. Dark woods had raced by for hours, with only a house or a farm here and there as she drowsed. No one else remained on the bus but her. They'd all gotten off in big towns like Wellington and Myrtle Beach, along with Miss Shaw and her granddaughter, Della. I had tried to make friends, but Sam wasn't in the mood. She had finally given up and left Sam alone for the long bus ride. The bus followed a curve and rolled along the main street. All of the shops were dark, and it was only 8 p.m. A full moon cast a town in grey shadows that crept down the uneven sidewalks. On the left, the Atlantic Ocean spread like a black carpet, a wall of mist sitting heavily on the water. In New York City, lights twinkled across Sam's ceiling all night long. She had never felt lonely then, knowing the city was awake with her. She could already tell that Foggy Harbor was different. It looked like the loneliest place ever. Why would anyone live here on purpose? She wondered. The driver pulled into the bus station. A neon sign that had flashed Foggy Harbor parking was missing most of its symbol letters. Boring. Some sign, she thought. I'm already bored here. You got someone picking you up, miss? The driver asked as he pulled her suitcase from the luggage compartment. Her t-shirt clung to her heavy, muggy air. Sam checked the phone for the address mom had given her. Uh, One foggy way. My uncle lives a block from here, she said, pointing at the street sign. The driver nodded and pulled out of the station, leaving her under the broken sign. Sam texted mom one word out of duty, arrived. With no choice but to find her new home, she adjusted her backpack and popped up her suitcase handle. Dragging it along, it quickly clackled all the way down the quiet street. Uncle Mitch's stone house sat at the end, alone and secluded, hugging the ocean. Its sloped roof pierced the murky sky. One light cloud in the back window. Crickets trilled around the house, creating an airy buzz as waves lapped the shore. Sam crunched over the walking path made of shells, then thumbed up the front porch street and rang. The doorbell eager to escape the empty night. After a few minutes, the door was yanked open. A tall man with curly black hair and a bushy mustache loomed over Sam, the porch light deepening his frown. Yes, Sam swallowed hard. Uncle Mitchell? Mitch? His eyes grew wide and he pulled her inside, slamming the door. Samantha, what are you doing here? Cool air washed over her from a ceiling fan that wired down above, and she shivered, shrinking under his glare. Then she remembered what Mom had said. He's the only family we have got. She straightened up. Did my mom tell you I was coming out for the summer? She's on music tour. He let go of her, shaking his head, and pulled out his phone. No, she didn't. He pointed at the couch. Sit. Sam sank into the couch as Uncle Mitch pressed the phone to his ear, pacing back and forth with long strides. He took the opportunity to look around. Stack of books littered a coffee table made from a lobster cage. There was a sagging dining room table with mismatched chairs, oars, nets, and spears on the walls, like a maritime museum. She had visited one, shelves made of driftwood held rusty tins and antique bottles alongside watercolor paintings of islands and sailboats. The scent of salt water and a musty old thing filled her nose as a breeze drifted in from the bay window that looked out over the water. Uncle Mitch blew out a long, exasperated sigh and tossed the phone aside, placing his hands on his hips. I can't get through your mom. He narrowed his eyes as this was Sam's fault. Reception here is bad, and I misunderstood her garbled messages. Mom said you left a message saying it was okay for me to come. Sam glared right back at him. He shook his head. I said, I am glad you are okay. They continued to stare at each other until he dropped his arms. Come on. I will show you where you can sleep. Sam grabbed her suitcase and backpack and followed him upstairs to one landing, then climbed further up a winding metal staircase. They entered a wide room with a pitched ceiling. Uncle Mitch clicked on a ceiling fan and threw open the windows. Sea air blew away the stuffy warmth. It's the attic, but it has its own bathroom, and you can do your thing up here. Meaning not to be with you, Sam thought, good, I'll find my own friends here. I'm used to starting over by myself. A single bed pressed up against the lower eaves. A rocking chair with a quilt wrapped over one arm sat across from it, next to a small dresser with a lamp that had let out a soft, dim glow. An artist's easel stood in one corner, paintbrushes and bottles lining its shelf. Moonlight streamed in, casting beams across the dusty plank floors. Uncle Mitch pulled a set of sheets from the closet and dropped them on the bed. Tomorrow I will contact your mom about getting you home, he said, his head nearly grazing the low ceiling. She's already in Europe. Panic started to set in. If Uncle Mitch sent her away, where should she go? They stood facing each other, his grey eyes piercing hers. You look just like your mom. No one had ever said that to her. Uncle Mitch rubbed his chin, looking tired and not so mean for a moment, and then he left. Sam checked her phone. No cell phone bars meant no message back from mom. She washed up in her tiny bathroom, changed into pajamas, made the bed, and slid between the cold sheets, and she was exhausted from the traveling all day. She tossed in the creaky bed for what seemed like hours. As tired as she was, sleep wouldn't come. Finally, she gave out and went to the window to peer out. The sea spread everywhere, moonlight glittering like diamonds upon it. In the distance, a wall of fog hung thick. Waves rolled to shore, lapping gently on the beach. Movement caught her eye. That rather down the beach, a shadowy figure walked along the shore that jutted out out from the shore. A small boat rocked in the water. The figure climbed in it, untied the boat, and rowed away, disappearing into the fog. Sam crawled back into the bed and dreamed of being in that rowboat, caught in a storm at sea. Her uncle yelled at her to row faster to get back home, but she had no idea where home was. Pirates of the Caribbean. Before Sam reached Foggy Harbor, her mother tells her the Carolina coast was famous for shipwrecks and pirate stories. Indeed, North and South Carolina were visited by many pirates, including perhaps the most famous of them all, Blackbeard. Born Edward Teach, Blackbeard spent a lot of time capturing and stealing from ships in the early port cities of Bath, North Carolina, and Charleston, South Carolina. In 1718, Blackbeard's ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, ran around and sank off the North Carolina coast. The wreckage was discovered more than 250 years later. Today, visitors can see artifacts from the ship and take pirate themed tours to learn more about the area's fascinating history. What will Sam discover on her first day in Foggy Harbor? Well, we have completed the book and I hope you enjoyed it. So, have a nice day, and if you want more Read Louds, subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.